Just because you've not seen it and you've not experienced it doesn't mean it's not happening. He didn't see anything at first, he heard sound. But when he looks out to sea, he claims there's a huge object rising out of the sea. Just literally rising out of the sea, shaped like a submarine. The subject of UFOs must be one of the most widely talked about topics in the world. Everybody seems to have an opinion, everybody's got a story. They've either seen something themselves or they've got a relative or a close friend who's seen something. I think it's becoming known that the subject as a whole has a lot going for it, and there's a lot of truth to the things that people are seeing and experiencing. And I want to just talk about UFOs, UAPs, the new term that people use nowadays. And a sighting that I don't really think I've ever spoken about in any detail, and I don't know why, because it's brilliant. And it took place here, above me, and we'll pan up shortly. At the top of those cliffs, if you go further back, there's the golf course. And a man walking along the top of the cliffs. And we're going back, definitely going back to 2016, maybe 2015, with this account, this absolutely chilling account. And on this particular day, he didn't see anything at first, he heard sound. He heard the sound of running water. Running water, almost like a waterfall, so I'm told. And when he looks out to sea, don't know how far out, but when he looks out to sea, he claims there's a huge object rising out of the sea. Just literally rising out of the sea, shaped like a submarine. Now, as hard as that might be for people to get their head around, that's what this guy says he saw, and all the water's running off it. Needless to say, what met his eyes absolutely terrified him, and he made his way away from the top of the cliffs and inland. But so much so that he left the area, didn't want to reside in the area anymore. The object that he saw frightened him. He went back to West Yorkshire as it happened, and I'm told that's the reason. We have to ask ourselves, how could the sighting of a tubular-shaped object have such an impact on a person? Maybe that's an indicator that what he saw truly was otherworldly. But are these USOs, unidentified submerged objects, present beneath the oceans, not just around our coastline and the North Sea, but all around the world? And what did it do apart from rise from the water to create such an effect on this man? Such an effect that he felt he had to move and live somewhere else. And I wonder, is the sighting of this object still haunting him today? Perhaps it is. So many people are touched by the presence of these true unknowns. And it's a very real trauma that haunts a person, often for the rest of their lives. So just out here, between 2014 and 2016, huge tube-shaped object is said to have risen out of the sea, motionless for a while, all the water running off it, and then vacated the area. Is there an alien base out there? Let's use the word alien loosely, because I know that people are saying NHIs, non-human intelligences. We no longer say aliens, or it doesn't seem to be in vogue. Why is that, do you think? Do you think the older generation, I don't know, people in their late 40s to the 70s and 80s, wouldn't even associate UAP and NHI? So when that terminology now gets thrown about, it probably just passes them by. Is that the reason that they've reinvented these names, reinvented new words to describe what we've been talking about for decades and decades, as in UFOs, aliens? And too many people also think that it's alien as in coming from another planet. That's not necessarily true, is it? Well, let's just get back to this account. A huge torpedo-shaped object rising from beneath the sea. Have we heard that before? We've seen lights beneath the sea off Bempton, off Speeton. Could that be part of what was seen that day? Are these objects actually hiding beneath the oceans of the world? Many years ago, the former lighthouse keeper at Flamborough Head told me about the huge torpedo-shaped object, submarine-shaped object that travelled up the coast between the cliffs and the lighthouse, and he caught it in the beam of the lighthouse. Could that object that the lighthouse keeper saw be the self-same object that that man saw rise from beneath the sea, shedding all that water? It's a possibility. I guess we'll never know. And once again, I realise that what I'm talking about is really difficult for people to get their heads around. It's something that just does not fit in with anything that we call normal. But just remember, just because you've not seen it and you've not experienced it doesn't mean it's not happening. These things are real. Call them UFOs, UAPs, aliens, NHIs, non-human intelligence. Call them what you want. These things are here. They're in and around our airspace. They're not coming from outer space. They're clearly here. I believe that the connection, or the way to connect with all of this strange and unusual activity that we're seeing and experiencing, begins inside the mind. If you've got the correct mindset, if you go out there with the right intent, then I think that you will connect with the UFO stroke UAP. So that's an account from 10 years ago that I'd love more detail on. If that man is listening to this and wants to get back in touch, please do. I want to hear more. I want to know the reasons why you felt it so essential to leave the area after seeing that craft. Did something else happen? Remember that I believe that we have the intermind connection when we've had some kind of close-up visual sighting of these objects. What do you think to that, Bob? Come here. Come here. Here he is. He's not going to... Get down, you. You're wet, you fool. We'll just let him watch the fisherman for a minute. It's a fact that a lot of these people who work the sea have seen and experienced things of a highly unusual nature. But unfortunately, many of them just keep these stories to themselves. I don't blame them, it's their choice. At the end of the day, they don't have to share them with anybody. But it's such a shame because we don't get a true picture of what's been seen and what's been experienced. I know that out there, not necessarily out in this bay, but out off Flamborough Head, there is a fishing boat that claims it struck an object just below the surface, actually scraped along the side of it. And I'm not talking about a bit of driftwood, an actual structured UFO. Yet nobody's wanting to talk to me. Come on, Bob. Come here. Nobody's wanting to share the finer details of this story, which I would love to find out more about. So if you are a fisherman, whether you're working on the trawlers or a small fishing cobble, and you've seen something of a strange and unusual nature out at sea, looking out at sea on land, let me know about it. I'd love to hear more. I know in 1966 fishermen out at sea were seeing spheres of light moving along the cliff face, and you get little snippets of information and then nothing. There's certain people that are willing to talk, but I think if you had a percentage out of 100, you've only got about 3% of the actual men who are working the sea who are willing to talk and share this information. And I don't know why they don't share it. Could it be that they don't want their names using? Well, if that's the case, I'd never do it. All I want is the stories. But if they're not forthcoming, they're not forthcoming. And looking at the time, I think we're going to make tracks. There's Bobby looking at the fisherman. I hope he doesn't get any daft ideas about swimming out to them. Look at him. You can see them, and there they are pulling the nets in. And what an amazing day. We'll just let him watch the fisherman for a minute. So, for the last transmission, if you're enjoying these short accounts of the strange and unusual, UFO related, cryptid related, press the like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.